Hello, and welcome to another episode of Arizona Express. I'm your host, Anthony Napodano, and today it's a very exciting interview. We are here with HobbyTown SRS owner Adam Crippen. Nice to meet you, Adam.
Nice to meet you, Anthony.
So, the world of RC, cars, planes, there's a lot of it. What are some tips you have for enthusiasts or someone who wants to get started in the RC world?
It's a great time to get into RC hobbies, from anything from tanks to boats to RC cars to planes and just a whole variety of different stuff you can get into.
Yeah.
Over the last several years, 5 to 10 years especially, it's been a huge change in the hobby as far as things that are ready to use. Back in the day when you would come into a hobby store, you'd see all these different boxes which looked really cool to look at them, but they all had to be assembled, whether you were talking a tank or an airplane model or a car. They had to be assembled, and there was just a lot of work and a lot of effort that went into it, and it intimidated a lot of people. Many people would perhaps buy the car, plane, vehicle that they wanted to have, but what would happen is that they would get it home, get scared of trying to assemble it, maybe stop halfway through, and they would usually not ever complete it, end up in somebody's closet or in the garage and sell it at the next garage sale. That's all changed. There's just a flood of products coming onto the market now that allow you to get something completely ready to go out of the box. It's kind of like the use it generation now, this instant gratification. And that's where our market's gone. So a lot of the planes that you get, a lot of the cars that you get, they come with everything in the box that you need to get started with, including the battery, the charger apparatus, and usually the vehicle or the car or the boat or the tank or the submarine, whatever it may be. So
Right. That's actually really awesome. I mean, I can speak for myself and my dad, who've always wanted to get into this hobby, but we were always a little overwhelmed. That's good to hear, and something we have always wanted to make. And I see right over here is an RC plane.
correct.
So if you could tell me a little bit about that and how you can fly that bad boy.
I would say the gap in generational usage of the stuff has really exploded because of the planes.
Okay.
And a lot of what you're seeing is a price reduction that just wasn't there before. Many times you would have to look into the hobby market to spend $500, $600, $700, $1,000. You can actually get into an airplane now for a little over $100. And a lot of what we're seeing in the plane market is because of the technology in usually two categories. Number one, electronics.
Okay.
Everything's gotten smaller. Just like we see it when you go to Best Buy or anything like that, with smaller TVs and smaller, tighter, more confined spaces. The same thing has improved the hobby market as well, because you're able to get a plane that is half the size of one you used to have to pay for, years ago, and you can literally go fly it at a field or a park. You don't have to actually go to a flying club and join the club and kind of be intimidated. Literally, you can get into one of these airplanes and go fly it at your closest school, soccer field.
Right.
It's the generation what we call park flying airplanes. Take it out of the box and you're able to go fly it right away. Usually they're made out of foam and plastic. So if you run into something or bang into something, you're basically talking an airplane that either has a replaceable part or you can just fix it right there on the spot. Very few of them now are made out of balsa wood, which was always very easy to damage.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I broke my fair share of model planes.
Yeah, I think
made
we
out of
all
balsa
have.
wood. Yeah. Now, obviously, the most popular part of the RC world, at least in my opinion, must be the cars. So for someone who's a beginner like myself, how can I get into that world?
The cars, much like the airplanes, the cars are of the same kind of design now. Everything in the box, ready to go. The real choice for the consumer is more of, what do I want to do with the car? If you can think of it, they've probably already built it and commercialized it and put it on the market. So do you want to go rock crawl? Do you want to go out in the desert and jump the biggest, highest hills and ravines you can find? Do you want to come to a racetrack where the track surfaces are prepped and perfectly groomed and you have these perfect jumps, and it really is up to the consumer what you want to do. There are several items, several different cars that we sell, cars, trucks, that would be kind of multi-use. You could both go out and play with them in the backyard or in the desert, but they could also be tunable for real competitive racing.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
Speaking of that, if you're anything like me, you're going to want to see one of these RC cars in action. And we are going to send one out in the course today. So right after this break, come on back. We're going to hit the course with an RC car. Hello and welcome back to HobbyTown SRS Speedway. We're still here with Adam Crippen, and I think I might just get to drive one of these RC cars. How's it going, Adam?
Hi, Anthony. So we're going to give you a little rehearsal here today and see if you can get around one of the tracks that we have here at HobbyTown Scottsdale RC Speedway, and that is our dirt oval track.
Nice.
So
I'm nervous.
I imagine you should be, really. so listen, we have a bunch of different remote styles that are out there, radio control styles. This is one particular one. It uses a steering wheel to direct the direction of the vehicle, the steering of the left and the right.
That's intuitive.
It's all very proportional, so when you turn it left, it'll actually go left, and the more input you give it, the more steering that it'll actually attain. So we call that proportional steering.
Got it.
There's a trigger which you will actually hold this in your left hand, and the trigger will be used to pull it to go forward, and then braking will be to shove the trigger forward.
Okay.
So that will be what you'll be doing to drive one of these cars.
All right,
I'll let you have a whirl here.
Let's give it a go. Left, that's right. All right, let's see what kind of damage I can do with this baby.
So as you get a little bit more confident, you can pull the trigger a little bit farther back, and that'll get you a little bit more top end speed.
Okay.
We have a bunch of different racing track venues that you can find all across the country. Here at Scottsdale RC Speedway, we've kind of found that the dirt oval and the dirt off-road tends to be a very popular pair of racing surfaces for us, of course, this being the oval track.
Okay.
We have racing on 2 nights a week. We have them on Wednesday nights and on Saturday nights, where guys who own their own RC cars, they will bring them out and compete. We have a lot of different forms of racing on both tracks. This would be one of our introductory classes, what we call street stock class. It's more of our beginner version of racing.
Got it. I would definitely need that to start out with.
Well, everybody starts someplace, and you get faster or you want to go faster, hop up your car and go quicker as you get a little bit more proficient at getting around. Looks like you're doing actually a very good job.
Thanks.
The track will tend to get dry. So before we did some racing here today, we threw a little bit of moisture onto the track to kind of help the track stay together. The track, these little cars with the very soft tires that they use on them to adhere to the track, they tend to pull the top surface of the track apart. And we put some moisture, some water down to help that compaction, and that's enabling you to go around the track much more efficiently than if it was just powder out there.
Got it. Now, if I'm just starting, like you talked about, this an introductory, this is like the introductory race course, how fast would the car that I'd be driving be able to go?
We have a variety of different cars that you can utilize that will definitely go different speeds. When we first get people out here, we tend to like to get cars that are around 20 to 25 miles an hour.
Okay.
And those cars will start in the neighborhood price-wise of maybe of $100 to $200.
Okay.
The faster cars will tend to be a little bit more expensive, and they'll get up in the $200 to $500 range.
Got it.
And that's not something everybody starts with. That's usually something you get into.
Sure. Well, that is super cool. Now, when we come back, we're going to get to see Adam here race on one of the more advanced tracks. Stick with us. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Arizona Express. We're back again with Adam Crippen, and we're going to see him run one of the more advanced courses they have here at HobbyTown SRS. Adam, can you tell me a little bit about this course? It looks like a giant maze. It looks scary.
It is. It's a big maze, and it definitely tends to be our most popular racing course. So much so that we actually host one of the biggest radio control car races in the world here.
Really?
Called the Cactus Classic. It's hosted every March, and actually this coming March will be the 28th running of that famous race, where
Wow.
it attracts people from all around the world. Japan, Australia, Puerto Rico, Germany, Sweden. We had them from everywhere last year. It tends to be a very popular racing course for us.
That sounds incredible. How many people on average do you have for one of these races?
On our big events like that one, we have a cutoff at 500 entries. So we cannot take any more than 500 entries. So people
insane.
sign up very soon in the year for that. But our normal Saturday or Wednesday night races would attract between 50 to 100 people.
Okay, that's still so many people. Now, the one thing I'm noticing on this track is there are jumps, and it looks like you're gonna get some good air here. Can you talk about that a little bit?
You do. You actually take into account another dimension of radio control car racing, which is the flying aspect. Now, over on the dirt oval, we were talking more about just turning and steering and controlling the momentum of the car with the throttle. But here, you actually, when you're flying through the air, can control the pitch and the car's attitude in the air by using the throttle as well. More throttle will tend to pitch the nose up, and more braking will tend to pitch the car nose down, controlling the altitude and the flight characteristics of the car. So it tends to be a bit more complicated because of that.
It sounds like it, and I'm guessing with complication adds collisions in air.
We do have a lot of collisions out here, so much so that we actually do a strategic placement of corner workers around the track so that if a car gets upside down, they can quickly get it back up on its wheels again.
Okay, very cool. Now, me being a beginner, as I'm sure many people out there are, we probably couldn't take part in the cactus circuit. So are there other types of races that you offer for more novice people, more beginning?
As our races go on throughout the year, we usually tend to start everybody in what we call our novice racing division.
Got it.
And as you move up, you will tend to find yourself racing into the sportsman division and then ultimately our expert divisions.
Okay.
The novice divisions tend to see a large influx of people around March trying to accelerate their ability and get into the sportsman division, because we do allow all sportsman racers to participate in the Cactus Classic.
Oh, that's awesome. We're gonna wrap up here. For more info on everything related to RC hobbies, check out ScottsdaleRCSpeedway.com. I was your host, Dan from Napodano. I want to thank Adam Crippen.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you so much. This was a great day. I got to race, which was a lot of fun. And we'll see you next time on Arizona Express.